All right, this is the CSRN podcast, or a podcast weekend review, where we come live every Tuesday from my French library. I'm gonna work on those sounds. I got something going on, so I'm sure you can hear me. If you can't, put something in the chat. Man, that's something about doing live. Yeah. All right, so
we do have sound.
All right, good. All right, so hey, let's play our intro video. Get that loaded up. So we'll be back. This is the CSRN podcast weekend review.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world, with the exception of 9. That's power right there, if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base, and at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, well, if you can't hear yourself, you probably have to turn that thing up to 10. Hey, family, this is the CSRN podcast weekend review. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he, and him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. What am I wearing? Today, I have on my Black Lives Matter virtual awards from 2021, and that's also going to be my Black Lives Matter moment today. So, you know what? You didn't steal. I mean, you didn't get what? You didn't get what? I've got on my black hat, my brown rimmed glasses. I've got on a keffiyeh today, and this is the traditional scarf that you will find in Palestine. Is one of the national symbols of self-determination and perseverance. And I just happen to rock like that. I've got on my beads today, and as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else, and it is awesome to have Jody back. He not only left town, he actually left the country. I can't wait to hear some of the updates and some of the things that you saw and some of the gifts that you brought back to me. All right, I can't wait to see that. So listen, I think that I covered everything that I could possibly cover. You know what? One of the things I did say is that 8 years ago, Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay, who are local activist type, had an idea that just ordinary people could speak truth to power. They didn't have to be pastors, politicians, preachers, or professionals. Just grab a bullhorn, grab some facts and stuff, and let's get out here in the community and make a difference. They had Community Solidarity Day. Then they brought me along later on to help organize some other stuff. And here we are, Jody. It'll be almost 9 years making this happen. And you'll talk about that in the mission statement. So I think that I wrapped it up. We've got a dynamite guest today. If you look into the caption and title of what we're doing today, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. Well, it is every day, but you know they only give us 30 days to get it in. So we'll do what we do. We'll do what we got. Do what we have. What we got. So if you could introduce yourself, who you are, where you been, and what you wearing today.
Konnichiwa, everyone.
Okay. All right.
It's a greeting or arigato meaning. Thank you for watching and tuning in every week, which next month marks 9 years.
9, that's right.
2014, November 25th. So 9 years of not being we are not a nonprofit.
No.
We are not a LLC.
No.
We are not paid by any other entities.
Mm-hmm. We just
not co-sponsored.
Yeah, I just do it.
We don't have a CEO or a leader. We have individual community members who pass in from time to time.
Yeah.
Add to the beautification of what we're trying to bring. Some stay with us. Some go out to start their own organizations, or we connect the organizations to other organizations. And it's not a paid gig. We pay with our time, our sacrifice, our need to see the world be a better place.
I didn't know that. I'm still waiting on what. All right.
Also, our privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it may look fun on the other side of the screen to see us doing things and going places and protesting and marching and doing all that stuff, but that is really a sacrifice because we're going against the establishment. This is something you pay us to do. This is something we literally said that we're going to make this sacrifice no matter what it takes to see the work.
Get it in.
So for me, I'm Jody, J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization and the person that you have to go through if you want to donate anything or you want donations. Because I'm very weird and all that stuff. That's why I've been here in the office so long. But other than that, I'm a poet, author, illustrator, filmmaker, director, city official. I run several nonprofits, and I like to travel. I just came back from Japan just to prove that you can go anywhere and do anything because of art, not because we paid you to, but because of your art. That's what brought me there. Hat on my head, respect to my arms.
All right.
people that purchase my books or watch me perform on stage, and the people that watch me protest.
Hey, we got some of the books here in the library, don't we?
We got some books here in the library. Some of my artwork is in museums and film. When I just finished my first, technically, because all the other ones were documentaries, we paid for that. But this was a paid gig. I won't say how much, but I'm very happy to see it with the the strike being over on indie films across the country. You go tour for that. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. I'm coming back maybe throughout the show after we talk to Tonya. I'll show you some more stuff from Japan. You'll get to see some of his gifts and everything, and I'll explain.
We could just cut the show and just do that, all right? We'll call Tonya and tell her not to come. Oh, man.
But and despite all the things that are going in the world, one thing I will tell you, the reason why I picked there, and I might either do Egypt next or Australia next, because I don't want to go to any vacation spots. I'm tired of seeing the same ocean behind the same people drinking or getting drunk and having fun when it could be even inspiring things. I could be showing you stuff like ancient shrines or things like that that people don't go to because they have heard so many bad things about them. With the way the world looks, I wanted to go as far away as possible without coming back to use my passport for a step that I should have collected in 2019, but I refused to go anywhere seeing people with masks on their face and not people living. So I waited until now.
Okay.
With lieu of everything going on in the world, I'm kind of glad for that because I don't know how much some humans want to keep it around. But anyway, enough the epilogue and all that stuff. How do you get to this point of this is what, almost 3 years of
That's
this
right.
thing?
Of the podcast or the reporting out online.
Weekly updates and stuff like that. You saw us initially just uploading from what used to be our video minutes on phones. We held up what people talked to.
Very crude looking phone bit, all right?
But I miss those days because we actually had a core group of people coming.
Yeah.
You know, they still trying. We got studio audience now. So try and have it come back to where it's more of the organic, different people read what I'm about to read, because to do this takes a lot. To do this, I was talking with a friend who does domestic violence after the parade's over, after the big push for everything, and you get pushed to the back for somebody else's red flag. Shut up. What do you do? How do you keep it going? And we have a mission statement
and guiding principles,
which keep us grounded that when me and him are gone, or somebody else replaces us, they have something to stand on. So here's our mission statement, and let's begin. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want equal justice applied. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, thanks, Jody. And before we get into our guiding principles, we always love to lift up our Black Lives Matter moments. We've been doing this for 9 years. I've been knowing you maybe it was a couple of months after we started.
True.
If you could pick one of the things that we've done together or experienced together for these last 9 years, what would your Black Lives Matter moment be?
Ooh. Well, something that's about to come up in the next couple of months with everything changing. Remember, November is next month. I don't think nobody's really talked about that yet. And I mean, we're already in the first couple of weeks of October, but we decided to do something different. We wanted to do forums to have you meet the senators, the congressmen, the sheriffs that were running for your city's votes. And we did that. Kind of lumping them all together because we went from local council people to all the way up to our state reps. We had state rep come on the show when he was running and then come back when he got elected. Paula Hicks Hudson was one of the reasons why I really got into politics, not because of a D, R, or I, but because of the person and what they stood for. That was something we got to see that I guess, and I understand in bigger cities you can't, because you can't just go up to city council and say, hey, I know where you live, come to my thing, let's talk to you. Somehow we worked that out. So that will be my Black Lives Matter moments.
All right, right there on the screen, you'll see 10 of our guiding principles, and we use our guiding principles as the glue to keep everyone together. It's just not me, it's not just Jody. All of us as activists could easily do this work by ourselves. All right, but somehow we brought all of these strange and unusual personalities together. How do we keep it afloat without imploding? And these are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus, we rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
And those are our guiding principles. You might say, well, who wrote those? I didn't write them. In 2015, we went to the Movement for Black Lives convening. This was a conference in Cleveland, Ohio, organized conference. And all of the primary organizers were under 40. So I was the oldest person. I was like, oh man, but it was dynamic. It changed my view on how we organize and fight for justice, because sometimes we harm each other if you're black, but you're not like me. If your religion is like me, if your preferences are not like mine. And we don't get anywhere because we're too busy fighting. And we saw those young people just change everything. So we brought those guiding principles back to CSRN, made some adjustments to them so that they match what we're doing right here in Toledo.
And up until this year, we've added something that's leading more entrepreneurs and business owners.
You know, one of the things that was missing, that we saw missing, that needed to be added in the guiding principles was black men wasn't a part of the guiding principles, and wealthy black people weren't a part of that initiative. Even though we say all black lives and they're included, but we want to make that extra stamp on it by making sure that we say that. My Black Lives Matter moment, and then we're going to shift to commercial. Come back with Tonya, and that's an interesting system. All right, I think we played a cheat I played a cheat for years. Just like thinking that she couldn't possibly be doing that. Wait a minute, she's doing that. That's the same way I felt about you. You couldn't pop. Oh, he's doing all of that stuff, man. I guess something is wrong with me. Man, my wife was right. But my Black Lives Matter moment was I have a shirt on. Well, you can't see it because we got our side. Yeah, but anyway, I've got a shirt on that says Black Lives Matter awards, but it was a virtual awards. In 2021, you all know what was happening. Everybody was shelter in place. We wore masks. We were afraid to touch each other. There was no Obama fist bumping or anything like that going on. Right. That's what we were doing that in Vermont. I'm from Lakers. I was like, oh, yeah. All right. Don't you touch me. All right. But we still wanted to do the Black Lives Matter Awards, and that's when we picked our 20 brothers and sisters under 40. That way we don't slide in all our preachers and professionals and politicians, all right? You know, they get everything. All right. So since we couldn't do it in person, Ruth Lynn, who at that point was functioning as the lead of the administrative corps, had this idea that we could do it over StreamYard. We could also have a DJ come in and spin some tunes.
Some of those copyrights.
If they still spin tunes, all right, I don't know, I can still spin tunes. But that was mine. It was successful, and we still use a lot of that today in what we do. So that's my Black Lives Matter moment. Awesome. And listen, still on our side camera. But what I want to do, I want to put together we'll take a short break.
Well, I guess, I forgot, and, the reason why we describe what we look like.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Because some people at this time of hour, depending on where you are in the country, you could be driving home. We don't want you looking at a screen.
Oh, yes,
we also know that not only are we live on Facebook, but we're live on YouTube and Spotify. Right. Spotify, you can't even see us. You don't even know what we sound or look like. You just got these, voices that are awesome and some special guests. So we described that as a way to kind of give you context to the people you're listening to. So me, myself, I'm a big brown bear man that's covered in tattoos, crystals, stones, bones, and things from traveling around the globe and meeting people that remind me no matter where I go, I still have those that are there with me. The shirt I'm wearing is one from Tonya Organics, who just celebrated her gala while I was in Japan. Okay. But shout out to her being one of the urban farms, as I told her. She kept calling herself garden. She's a farm in Toledo, Ohio, right here in the hood. So that is pretty much me. Wearing hat. That is my art brand. That gets to take me all over the world, and that's what I'm wearing. So yeah.
All right. So hey, look, family, stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is the CSRN podcast for our weekend review.
Panama Canal.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. The Joshua Treatment Center offers culturally relevant, inpatient, and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober, safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Hey, we are back. This is the CSRN Podcast Weekly Review. One of the things that we tell all of our guests and the people that are in our studio audience to please turn your phone off. I think my Snoop Dogg ringtone just came on, and I always tell Jody to make sure that he has his phone off. And I'm the guilty one today. Family, we are back here with a special guest. And one of the traditions of CSRN, we always ask our guests who they are, what are they wearing, and what are we talking about today. So, who are you, what are you wearing, and what are we talking about today?
My name is Tonya Duran. I'm wearing my Libby Cowboys sweatshirt. Whoop, whoop.
Okay, are we supposed to say whoop, whoop, along with her? Okay.
Yes.
All right, whoop, whoop, all right, okay. That's all good.
And we're talking about the Belief Center and Life Happens Coaching and then the DeMonte Awards.
All right, let's start first with the Belief Center. When did that relationship start with you and the Belief Center? When did that happen?
I'm actually one of the founders of Belief Center. Me and my 3 kids started the Belief Center back in April 2011. So, and Belief Center has been in existence for 12 years.
All right. So, how many programs did the Belief Center have when you started? How many programs did the Belief Center have at the height of what you were doing?
Okay, so in 2011, I only really had 9 basketball teams, and I did the Thunderbolts football program, and we had about 600 kids for the football program. I was one of the coordinators for football. I do basketball, baseball, football, soccer, and boxing. So boxing is one of the programs I've been doing, but back then I concentrated on AAU ball, and my kids were young.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't know what AAU ball was.
Right.
Because we had regular school basketball, we had rec, but in order to get a full scholarship, you had to do something called AAU basketball. And they wouldn't teach me, so I had to learn on my own. And so I grabbed a whole bunch of kids that nobody wanted.
All right.
And we were called the Rough Riders.
Okay. All right.
So we were the Rough Riders. And the first couple of years, we hung in there. We lost a lot of games, but after the second year, we ended up being noticeable. We ended up going to the national tournament in Las Vegas and winning the Nike tournament. So that was really big.
All right.
So that was.
We see you.
I've been coaching 34 years, and so that's a long time to be coaching. And mostly I started when my daughter was 5, and the coach was intoxicated, and I would complain to the principal, and the principal told me to quit complaining, go down there and fire the coach and take it over.
Oh, okay.
So I went down there and fired the coach and took it over, and I've been coaching ever since.
Wow. What for you? What would you say are some of the rewarding things about coaching? What would some of those things be for you?
I think the most rewarding is when the kids come back and I realize what a great difference I have made. And especially when kids don't realize that their life does matter.
Yeah.
And when young kids don't realize, in the 34 years of coaching, I always thought I was doing a great job because I made sure they go to practice, they have a game, and they went home. But it wasn't until I started the Belief Center when I realized what they went home to was the same reason why I played sports growing up. I didn't want to go home because you don't want to live in that environment. So we were the safe haven. And that's one of the things about the Belief Center. I can honestly say we are a safe haven for so many kids, and it's, being a coach, also giving parents respect.
Okay.
And also, too, is developing rules that we all have. And some of the rules that the parents don't like is like, if you don't come pick up your kids and practice is over at 7 o'clock.
Right.
They're not coming until 9 o'clock and picking them up. We're all volunteers. I have to realize we have to sit there and wait for you to come pick up your kid. That's not fair for us because you're at the club, doing your thing instead of picking up your kid. And so I develop a rule. If you're 15 minutes late, we will call children's services. And then I just give them a warning, give them a warning, give them a warning. There's only a few times I actually had to call them, and it was hard for me because I knew that kid would not come back because the parents was upset. But after the thing is like, who's protecting our kids?
That's right.
And I said, we all have to follow a guideline. Even myself, I even follow the rules. And I always tell the kids, I said, the one thing I always tell everybody, I don't have no money. I'm never going to have money because I choose to live a life of saving kids' lives. Mm-hmm. And then the thing I will die with is integrity. And I teach kids that. I teach integrity is the only thing that you have. And I don't care if you're rich, poor, or medium class. The one thing that you can't change is integrity, how we handle situations. Like some of the kids, I teach them that when they came to the Belief Center. Your grades, go to school, finish school. I would like to be invited to your graduations. Everybody, you know how many graduations you're going to every year? I said,
right.
But see, that is my only goal is to make sure I attend a kid's graduation. They're like, you actually came. And I said, yeah, because it shows them that they're important. And graduating from high school is a really important thing.
That's awesome. Tonya, I worked within youth prevention for maybe about 20 years at the Frederick Douglass building. We had a program called SET. And one of the oft-repeated things that I was hearing working with young people is you're wasting your time. They don't want to listen. Why do you think it's so important that we don't give up on our young people?
I think the one thing that people don't realize is even the invisible depression that the kids have, and people don't see it. Even as adults, it's in adults also. And a lot of people always give it up on kids, but I am a product of a fourth chance. And so, and then if people give up on somebody after your third or fourth or fifth chance, now there is a time that you have to finally let go. Okay. But I let them know, and people said, Tonya, you can't do that. I said, you can't say those words. And I said, it's time for me to give up on you. I've only done that for 2 kids. Because I give so many kids so many chances. Right. And then the kids were like, Miss Tonya, you can't give up on me. Nobody else believes me. But I said, help me help you.
That's right.
You gotta help me help you. I've been trying my hardest. But at the time, I can't do it anymore because you have to realize the Police Center this year had 2,835 non-duplicate kids.
Can you say that number again?
2,835 non-duplicate kids.
Now, you know, a lot of us that have done that work will say we've served 2,000 kids, but over half of those are duplicates.
Right.
All right, so that's amazing. And I want to talk briefly. I want to put this graphic up here. Early before the show, we talked about the Believe Center, the Diamante Awards, and then we're going to talk about Life Happens Coaching. That's on the screen right now. I think most people thought, Tonya Duran, did you see the Believe Center? Well, there's been some changes to the menu. All right, you're going to learn about that soon. But I want to talk about the Diamante Awards. What is the Diamante Awards, and why is that so important? And this was last week. This was last Tuesday. That's why you stood me up last Tuesday, family. And I'll wait here all night long. All right. So Tuesday, October 3rd, 6 p.m. at Owens Community College was the Diamante Awards. What was it about? Who were some of the winners? And why is it important for us to know about that?
The Diamante Awards is an award that has been in existence for many years. It targets Hispanic kids on education because we are losing so many kids because of funding. Kids cannot afford education, so we teach them how to get a full scholarship, how to fill out the FAFSA, we have so many barriers of people of color.
This is great. I love it.
People of color have so many barriers in going to college, but people don't see that. They don't realize we are not taught about FAFSA. We're not taught about scholarships. We're not taught about I had drove a kid all the way down to Miami, and because the parents didn't have a car, our kids have so many strikes. But when we have an advanced program, and it's called Advance, and so what we did when we dropped them off, they didn't realize we gave them a basket with food, coins, and laundry soap because once they leave the college, they didn't realize that they got to do their own laundry.
What?
Yeah, they got to do their own laundry. And then I put some snacks in there so that when the cafeteria is closed and you're studying late at night and that hunger, and I teach the kids a scoop of peanut butter will curb hunger to make you to last till the next morning, because that's what our kids are feeling, because they don't realize sometimes our kids don't know when our next meal is coming. And that's the real pain. And there's some of the food programs that are out there. I'm very thankful for those programs.
Now, what we did, we've got a crawler, little trailer at the bottom of the screen, and we wanted to congratulate the 2023 Diamante Award winners. Youth leadership was Erica Sacato. Adult professional was Jesus Salas. Adult leadership was Jose Rosales. And community agency was the Belief Center. And what was that like receiving the award? I think they took a couple of pictures of you. I'll try to get those pictures up.
Well, that is really a team effort. A lot of people didn't realize I had changed my role at the Belief Center because I started my own business called Life Happens Coaching. Coping skills we are not teaching our generation, and they have the right to be happy. We're not teaching the kids they have the right to be happy. And and that's some of the things that, one of the great things about Elena and Dr. Vinny, they do the mental health component, which is called Sanarana. So I developed a curriculum with Adam where keeping sports alive has always been my main focus. And Woody, a jet football player, committed suicide. He was in my gym. And when he committed suicide, it changed me because we're not asking our kids the right questions. We're not using the right words. And so we had developed keeping skills alive. And Dr. Vinny had developed Sanarana so we can attack the mental health component, anxiety, suicide, and bullying is one of the things, and cyberbullying, and also depression. That's why I said the depression that the kids have is so invisible and people don't see it.
And I like to add that some of us, I'm glad you're doing this because some of us don't care. Some of us see, but we don't care. And I'm glad that you're making this known and taking a step to help our young people. Many of us walk right by them and won't say anything. Many of us walk by them that are professionals and we see them struggling. But I don't have time for that. I've got a meeting in 2 hours, or I don't have time for that. I've got this thing that I'm going to go to. And only when something tragic happens, like you said, then we start putting on our little yellow ribbons. Then we start doing that type of stuff. So I'm glad that.
No, we need to stop it before it happens. We got to ask the right questions.
That's right.
And use the right words. And you can't be afraid to ask kids questions.
That's right. That's right. Hey, I want to turn it to something else. Earlier on your page, one of the things that we do with all of our guests, we start stalking the page to find out. We don't want it to be kind of awful. Jody said, "Hey, look, Tonya, she's doing really well. Well, let's scroll the page, see what she's talking about." One of the things that we saw was there was a post that everybody was congratulating you. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know what she did. What was it that everyone was congratulating you for?
Well, this week has been quite a few things because we got the Diamante Awards, and I actually graduated from the Toledo Community Foundation minority class of nonprofits.
I'm going to tell you, family, that's not an easy feat. At one point, I thought that I was going to do consulting, but you got to have some skills. You got to have some training. You got to know something, and you have to be able to be taught. And I'm glad that you did. Now you can teach me. So we took one of the pictures that we saw. Was this the graduating class? All right, that is great. That's our sister right there in the middle right there. You see her. And all of this was to help you be able to organize and administrate your nonprofit.
Yes, because one of the things is that running a nonprofit is not easy. And people think it's like, oh, I could do a nonprofit. I
No,
have a passion.
no,
I have a purpose.
that's all you got?
Lisa Banks wrote a great book called Do You Really Want to Start a Nonprofit?
Ooh, wow.
And that book is so perfect to read. And Lisa Banks did a great job. And I even questioned Lisa a couple things that she needed to put in there because starting a nonprofit from scratch is really hard. And then I love that picture that you have of me because everyone in that class had a story. Everyone has started a nonprofit or running a nonprofit, and people don't realize some of the hardest things that we don't learn, that forensic audit, paper audit, Ohio general audit, workforce comp audits that, people think, oh, it's easy, I would just go in here, but it's really hard to develop, to get grants to pay yourself. You can get grants to do the purpose, but to actually pay yourself, it's really hard because almost all the money is restricted.
Right.
Restricted money. And so I do work 40 hours at Belief Center, and my free time, I do Life Happens coaching where I help develop nonprofits, revamp nonprofits, and start nonprofits.
All right, so let me put this. You just had your name there. Put a name back. Okay, good. Then listen to me. All right. So Life Happens Coaching. Most people know you from Belief Center. What is Life Happens Coaching? What do you do, and how can people contact you?
Well, as Life Happens Coaching, my phone number is 419-870-5438. And I text faster than I do answer the phone.
All right, great.
I'm always in meetings.
All right.
I developed Life Happens Coaching because I wanted to develop books on saving kids' lives. And I was in a car with 5 yes kids, and one of the kids had lost his phone. And I said, Life Happens Coaching. That's what he said. That's what I told him.
Oh, wow.
Lessons taught by life, but we're not
Yeah.
teaching our kids. And then he was very upset, got very angry, and I said, your anger is above what it should be because we're not teaching you responsibility. We're not teaching you accountability. Because if we're not teaching accountability, because I think at the younger age that we're not talking to our kids, talking to them, like really like listening to them. When I sat there and listened to him and how he showed his anger and how he showed his madness, I said, you know what, I'm gonna, because I had so many different names for my business, and when he said Life Happens Coaching, I said, yeah, Life Happens Coaching. And then he goes, Miss Tonya, that should be the name of your business.
Wow.
And I said, well, thank you. That is a good name. And so that's how I came up with the name.
All right, last question. One of the things that we're going to do is maybe during the break, we're going to go to her page, take her Life Happens Coaching, and then we'll share it on our page so that everybody that loves CSRN, you love what we do, we want you to love Life Happens Coaching too, because all of us need a coach, all right? All right, because we're losing. You need a coach, all right? Hey, that could be our slogan. Hey, kid, you're losing. You need a
It starts
coach.
with a 5-minute rule.
All right, it starts with the 5-minute rule. Oh, what's the 5-minute rule?
I'm going to share that.
Okay, let's do it.
Rule number 1 is your only hero and worst enemy. Rule number 2, 24-hour rule. Don't say nothing for 24 hours because you can't take words back and you can't take bullets back. Rule number 3, trust me, trust your teachers, trust your coaches. We're here for the right reason. 4, the shit, a type of shit. You have to deal with shit to move on shit. Coping skills, and we're not teaching this generation. I had a few suicides, and I think they could have been prevented if we would have taught them coping skills. And then also too, you know, when your wife cheats on you, your boyfriend cheats on you, no food, no gas, you know, coping skills that we're not teaching this generation, how to write a check, you know, or just simple finances. You know, it's important to get a job, you know, and whatever job you pick, make sure you're happy to go to work. People go to work and they're not happy at their work.
Wow.
We're going to teach them, you know, if you want to develop your own work, start your own business. So that's when my daughter started Like That, Life Worthy, where she teaches how to start businesses.
Last question.
Rule number 5.
Rule number 5.
Don't forget rule number 5.
All right.
Rule number 5 is the most important. I look at them straight in the eye and say, help me help you. I do not know what you're thinking. If I don't know, I cannot help.
We asked this of every guest. You've been an awesome guest. Man, I had no idea you were, man, well, you do it all right? I need to stop doubting you. You just do it all. In our guiding principles, we talk about self-care, which is how we bring it back, how we stay balanced. For you, when it comes to self-care, what do you do to bring yourself back to balance?
Well, actually, I go to Wasiyan and stay for the whole weekend.
All right.
And I make homemade tortillas, beans, papas, enchiladas, chorizo. I actually take time and cook because, you know, we are always rushing in our daily lives, and fast food is so much easier, but cooking a home cooked meal is so important.
Right. Would you be willing to come back at another time and give some life happens coaching tips?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Jody, you see we just did something. We've got life happens coaching tips with Tonya. All right. And just give breaking down some of those 5-minute rule type things. And I'm sure if anybody's like me, I'm going to do the 24-hour rule when I get home. Listen, honey, don't say nothing for 24 hours. All right. I'll be staying with Jody later on. Hey, listen, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with Jody to top some loose ends and also hear something about his trip to Japan. So, family, listen, this is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. We will be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do, because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, I would say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call digital edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. That was a slow segue. All right, they had the little backdrop thing there. I'm like, hey, so family, if there's anyone out there that knows anything about tech, the people that are helping us, they are not helping us. They're not helping us at all. Hey, family, this is the CSRN Podcast Week in Review. At this point, we're going to start some loose ends, meaning we're going to hear from Jody some of the things that he's been into this weekend. I'm going to keep mine in my shirt because this stuff is better than mine. So I'm not even going to bring mine now. But before we do that, I wanted to bring up our Kwanzaa word of the day. And where did they put it? All right. Our Kwanzaa word of the day is Kujishagalia. That is to be able to define ourselves, name ourselves, and speak for ourselves. And as you know, we are entering soon the Kwanzaa season. And Mother Diane Gordon and the Toledo Kwanzaa House are going to be doing some awesome things up to that, including something that's happening on the 21st of this month at Frederick Douglass. I think we're going to be celebrating Art Tatum's birthday. And they've got a dynamic program there. I'll get some flyers and some other things to post on our page to let you know that's coming up. Other than that, there was something else I wanted to post about or talk about, which is the Holy Day of Atonement. Today is 10/10. 10/10/15. We were at Justice or Else. That was right. So 9 years ago,
before they closed off the White House to
Right,
past the front
right.
lawn.
9 years ago, Jody and I, we celebrated the 20th, I think it was the
20th anniversary.
20th anniversary
of the Million Man
March. And man, I was there in 1995. I was there for the Million Family March in 2000. I was there for the Millions More movement in 2005. And then 10 years, 5 years from that was 10, 10, 15, where we brought our young people in. And that was a really big boost to CSRN. And here in the Alabama Schools for Archive, kind of give our marching orders where we don't have to ask permission to do good. All right? If you don't like an organization, you can make your own.
That's true.
All right? You definitely can. So those are one of the things that I wanted to mention. And also, how are we going to celebrate the Holy Day of Atonement this year? Where is it? I'm trying to look for that thing that we had. This year, we wanted you to mark your calendar because this Sunday, October 15th at 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Mosque number 91, we're going to be viewing and celebrating the Holy Day of Atonement. How much does it cost? It's no cost. Who can come? Anyone can come. So we are going to be the theme is going to be Atonement, the Great War. And most of the time, we're battling some things within. So we invite everyone out this Saturday, October 15th, Holy Day of Atonement. On Monday is the 16th. And on that day, for a lot of us, there's no work, there's no school. And we're going to try our best to, reconcile some of our relationships, all right? To mend some fences that you and I both know that we sort of kind of messed up along the way. And that's how we're going to spend the Holy Day of Atonement. Later on, I might even put up the 8 steps to talk about that. So I think right now I've covered all what I needed to cover on here. Kwanzaa Word of the Day, Holy Day of Atonement. Make sure you get this week's edition of the Final Call. Because it has the what does it have on it? Oh, it talks about celebrating the 28th anniversary. Wow, it's 28. It's been 28 years since 2000.
Right.
1995.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
Like Tonya was saying, it's more about, do you want to run an organization, a nonprofit? It's not like, oh yeah, the first 2-3 years, there's been decades.
That's right.
What will you do? It's like that question they ask you in school where you're really not prepared for it or don't know anything at all.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Doing organizations is, where's the hill you're going to die?
Yeah.
It's not like 10 years or 20 years, because as we know, that doesn't fix problems. It has to be something that's set in stone. It has to be something that you can't go back to the way things were done before. It's like, oh, we got to be pretty 20, 30 years. So you're just going to pass it down to what, 1, maybe 2 generations.
We call that kicking the can.
Yep.
We're not planning on doing that, because when we do that, we just make sure that our young people start at 0.
Yep.
And right. We're not willing to make some changes now so that they can have it less difficult. CSRN is going to be something that a young person can inherit, and they have much more than we started with.
Right.
All right. They have all the contacts, instant wisdom. All right. And whatever.
Something to stand behind.
Yeah. Something
to stand on.
That's right.
Actual history, not just, ooh, look at me on some sort of shit.
And look, I'm sad here to this point of the show. It's 7:07. They're going to be flicking the lights on and off in a few minutes. Shout out to my Brett. All right, they roll out the red, black, and green carpet every week for us. However, they're not going to leave us in here after the lights go off. So for you, I'll mention a couple of things that I what was your trip like? And we're coming back next week and talk about it some more.
Yeah.
And then the next week, and maybe each week there's a new gift that he'll be bringing. All right.
There's a clip that I shared up that I don't actually share. Like, for us, again, I see us as our movement.
Yes.
Our individual parts, just highlights and stuff. Like if I go to the State House and speak, or if we're raising the flag and stuff like that. But I try and keep my actor, author, poet, speaking, whatever, guru, Buddhist priest life on separate pages. So I did share one of the clips from some of the stuff that I brought back on our page. You guys can see it there.
All right, that's what's up.
Remember to like and all that good stuff. But first, because even though I was not here, I'm still aware of things going on, because that's what I do as a person that is going to inspire. This isn't about me. I'm going to be dead, long and gone, and I still want to see whatever I'm doing now continue maybe in someone else. So there was the Urban Holistics Golden Hour Gala fundraiser. That's on the organics that was hosted out at the Botanical Gardens. I saw some photos and everything. Love her for everything that she's doing in the community. I noticed I'm talking my hands flat anyway. Then there was the October Lifeline Community Dinner. That's by Steve North and that awesome organization. The Adams Street Zombie Crawl. And this is all stuff that was Saturday. Technically, I came back today, but after a week.
Hey, you missed everything.
I missed everything.
All right,
unfortunately, and this was the first time that I've missed both the block party and zombie crawl on Adams Street, and I've been doing those since 2016, 17. But I did see lots of photos and stuff. Last year, I actually did my first walkthrough, because I went from volunteering to board member to volunteering and some other stuff in between. But yeah, hopefully everybody had fun out at the zombie crawl. There was the Music Against Domestic Violence at Howard's Club. The Earthship, shout out to Monica and everybody over there in the Collingwood area that works with the garden, that works with that I've seen build this Earthship. They had their open house, cob stomping party, and let's see.
What a cop stop?
I'm not
Is that what
exactly
it
sure.
says?
No, not cop.
I'm like, y'all, you guys didn't invite me? We had a cop stop party. All right, bro. We gotta get on my phone on. So y'all didn't invite me. All right.
So not cop as in COP, but cob like corn.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was a stomping party. Probably doing something with the foundation and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Earthship they are building from scratch.
I would have been kind of embarrassed to show up in my cop stomping outfit. I would have been a little out of place. All right. Hey, it's all love. All right.
But so sorry, yeah. But in the middle of that, let me do, I guess, a little bit about Tokyo. So, and this is going to be my forever expression. That's kind of somewhat offend people every time I say it.
All right.
So going there, because I've been to New York, I've been to Chicago, I've been to past Toronto, going to Niagara Falls, the Grand Canyon, other bigger cities. Tall buildings, lots of people, rush hour traffic. So it was like doing that in America, but everything was different. The signs were different, the words were different, the people were all, for better lack of words, Asian. Okay. You didn't see too many tourists or anybody else when you drove the tour buses or drove the taxis through their city. It was kind of dystopian, and I take it akin to the first one, Planet of the Apes, where he got there and saw Statue of Liberty, everything looked the same, but it wasn't. Everybody literally does wear business suits. And women dress formal, gowns, dresses and stuff. It's very quiet, very humble culture. There are no trash cans. There's a reason behind that, but look towards 1995 and terrorist that tells you a lot about imperialism too. Of it was just not just, but it was a terrorist attack. People were injured and murdered and killed and stuff like that, and they just said no more garbage cans throughout the whole country. So you can go to your hotel and a couple convenience stores, but otherwise it's very, very, very clean. Cigarette butts, no smoking there. Outside they have smoking rooms in hotels, restaurants, buildings, and then there's some off to the outside, but you are very, you know that you are smoking. When I went to the cone, where they make the 1,000-year-old eggs, black eggs and stuff, there was actually little ladies out there sitting outside of the smoking booth, and everybody that came out, they would follow them and cough at them. It's very weird. But otherwise, they're very quiet. Like, even going up to a person and like how we are just friendly, you say hello, that's rude. You literally have to go to an area where people meet each other to say hello. So when I open the show and I say konnichiwa, that would not be appropriate to do on the train or just walking down the street because they would think you were weird. Other things were a lot of their bases of their soup are fish based. They have a lot of seafoods, big seafood culture as far as mixing proteins, rice, and it was really, really awesome. Again, those two words, konnichiwa and arigato, which Ohio, I think they were saying means supreme thank you. So every time I said where I was from, it's like, oh, Supreme Ohio, but that's why. But again, it was very nice culture. I got to see everything. We took 2 tours. I went to the Hakone Shrine, went to Mount Fuji. I saw the Emperor, his carriage, which is a very rare because he doesn't leave the castle or anything like that. So we saw him while he was coming out and I guess inviting some dignitaries and stuff. Ate the food. Again, I don't eat shellfish, so some things were off the menu, but if you do like shellfish, it's everywhere. Walking through and going through the city is very like, I guess if you're not used to manga or anime, then you can be like, why is everything so big? But in perspective, very simple, not simple, intricate images can describe whole words. So it kind of has to be bigger. That way you can see the little swoop that's there, the little swoop that's there, and not be interpreted like, wait, should I eat here or is this trash? Stuff like that. But I went through the whole time with Olino and Konnichiwa, arigato. Smiling, being nice, being polite, being very humble. Again, it's not a place where people are going to tell you that they are better than anybody. They may say they're good at something, but not the best. I stayed in Ryogoku, which is almost sumo. When I was younger, I was being sumo wrestler and stuff. And I did learn that to my second tour because I was like, why is everything covered in sumo wrestlers? And then I found out their actual stadium was around the corner from my hotel. They live, they sleep, they eat there. So it was nice. I brought back stuff for everybody. So this is the bag that I used while I was there. I was trying to get the whole Infinity Stone because they had one more trip. And one person was like, hey, I'll give you my yellow one. But a tour guide, she was like, I got one. And it turns out it was on the other bus. We didn't stop to meet the other bus. So I still got 2 trip badges going a little bit everywhere. And what I did bring back, if you watch the video on our page, it's one of my page and stuff. I wanted to do something. Why I chose to go there was because, again, 2019, I got my passport. And I wanted to go somewhere that would mean it. I don't want to see, I see enough beaches. I see enough party spots. I see enough Hawaii, Belize, Jamaica, everybody's timeline. It's like, what am I going to do new there? Just vacation. So why not go to as far away as I can, get my first step, and have a story to tell? Because the other side of that is they're very, I guess, modest, quiet, but we don't know you type of culture. We'll be friendly all day long, but don't ask me for anything because you're a foreigner. I learned that on my second trip because there was a woman who was trying to get some food. I was like, I'll pay for it, blah, blah, but it was no. And she had let me know that she was so hungry. It had been 2 days because if you're not on a tour group or with someone from there, they don't look at you. It's not that they don't look at you as a person, but they don't. It's easier to say hi and hello than go through the idea of translating what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So if you do go there, go with a group, try and take tours, go by yourself, especially if you're a woman, which is most of the world. Big surprise, most of the world. If you're a woman traveling by yourself, it's going to be harder in other countries because it's just different. So for Brother Washington, I brought him back, and I brought a lot of my friends back. This is a note, $1,000 yen. Y'all can do the conversion yourself for Brother Washington. I also brought back some coins for some other people, and then some stones that I got while in one of their malls in Shinjuku, and some pictures, lots of video, and that's basically my mission now. I think it's either going to be Egypt or Australia next, but that into the universe where I go to find stuff to bring back. Because I don't know, it's done. He teaches us how to do this.
That's right.
Taught me how to be an artist or a poet or author or an activist or a chef. That was my chef part. But all the other stuff I had to learn by not necessarily, and I guess you can kind of think of it as shadowing people. But this is coming up on 8 years for me. March 23rd will be 9 years next year. November 14th will be 9 years for us. Of me kind of shadowing people in my fields. It means I did a lot of crazy stuff. It means that there would be days or maybe a few days where I didn't sleep because I was going off to open mics or a political meeting or something that's engaging in my community with people who I was doing the same thing. So it's kind of like shadowing, but I wasn't like you're my mentor or boss or stuff. It was just like, hey, you like things I like. I'm going to keep doing it until, we branch off at some point in time. So not everybody's going to be on the same path as you. Thinking like that, thinking that somebody is endeared and indebted to you or should teach you something because they learned it is wrong. You gotta invalidate their whole life experience of getting to that point by saying they owe you this knowledge. But you will find people that's like, hey, let me share it with you freely. If anybody tells you that you need to add more people or you got to pay them before they tell you something, right? I've learned that in life because people will take advantage of, I have something over you. And even if it's not much, experience it yourself. Make mistakes yourself. Go off. I got caught by, customers. Because my sister, for her birthday a couple of years ago, she bought me a silver bullet, solid silver bullet stuff. Okay. And I forgot that it was my bag because things like this stuff, it comes with me. It doesn't come off. It's not like I'm putting a button on for the Heritage Month or something like that. I live with this because until it breaks or falls off or gets left in another country, it's there as a semblance of I did this and I'm going to keep doing this. So yeah, that's what Japan was like. It was fun. I encourage you to go. The biggest thing is getting over the flight. Now, I booked 3 weeks out. So it's about, I hate talking about it. In total, I spent about $500,000 yen between me and my sister, getting there and back.
All right.
Flight is probably the biggest expense you'll make. Further you book it out, the less it will be. Going there, the exchange rate for U.S. money is 148 yen to $1. So do the math on that, or just like Google, yes, smartest devices on the planet, how much it did cost. And I could tell you, I bought from local vendors as best I could, and it's fun.
Okay, so best believe you'll be coming back next week with another $1,000 from me. All right.
But now I actually got a necklace that you'll pick out off camera and stuff.
All right, that'll work.
And then
that's worth $1,000 too, just like this. $1,000. All right. Shoot, this will be my new job. I just have a podcast every week. It'll give me $1,000.
I mean, literally, people do get paid for that. If you're good at traveling and getting to know people, I grew up on shows on PBS and Discovery where people travel the world. It is a profession, but you got to also remember there's a lot that comes with that too, because in most countries you're always going to be the foreigner.
Right.
So,
hey, we're going to get into our 5 minutes of heat, but I'm going to do our promos first. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share our Facebook page. We need you to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. That's Community Solidarity, YouTube/Community Solidarity. The rest drop down. You already know what to do. We're trying to get up to 100 subscribers. We're almost there, but we need you, all right? If you like what we do and you want to support it, that's Cash App. That for the cash tag, CSRN419. PayPal, CSRN419. Follow us on IG, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. We do have a few Black Lives Matter signs and maybe a couple more defund Toledo police signs, and we're going to have something going on with TPD really soon, so stay tuned. We got some things in the work. It ain't over. So I think I covered it for that, Jody. It's awesome to have you back. I think that I've shared everything that we could possibly share.
well, and see, he was off by a couple zeros. We need 100,000 people to like.
Okay, that's a couple. I was off by
a couple zeros. Do you know? You ask for 1,000, you may get 999.
Okay.
Or if you ask for 100, you get 99. So we need them somewhere in the middle. We need 100,000. 1,000. Somewhere in between that. A couple more events though. If you would like to see my awesome face, hear my voice, or even get a book. This weekend, I will be taking over Franklin Park Mall again, me and 30 other authors for the Writer's Block Authors Fair, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you go to Franklin Park Mall in Toledo, Ohio, in the food court, we take over that area and bring books and literature and stories and novels, different genres to life. You can speak to the authors, purchase our books, or the merch. Of course, I come with stickers and artwork, stands, all that stuff. But come down, see us if you would like. Literature is important to you, or you just want to know maybe how to write your own book. I believe writing is something that keeps you alive for generations after you're gone. You can see now media are trying to ban books and all this other stuff, but that is truthfully your permanent mark on history. Even if it's a journal, even if you want to talk about a trip you took, say you went to the Bahamas and you want to write a book about it with pictures and stuff, do that. Because when all these little digital screens and stuff is gone, there's not going to be much proof you exist.
That is right. So what do we have today for 5 minutes of heat?
Alrighty. One last thing. Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day performance at the Toledo Museum of Art at 11 a.m. All right. That's last upcoming things. This piece that we are going to read today is called Limbo. I think it's very fitting. This is one of the last pieces I wrote before I left, September 30th. So let's begin. Peace. I struggled for so long, I learned how to survive. And through that survival, I learned how to thrive. Now that I'm thriving, I need to find new ways to grow. Because this is only one plateau. And there's so many more adventures to go. So many more things that I haven't experienced that I did not even know was there. Living in poverty traumatized me, slowly brainwashing me into believing that I wasn't enough, that I didn't have what it takes to be happy, that I would never be the person someone wanted to be. Now that I have found success in doing things I was never told was meant for me, I don't fit in with my peers. My stories of success are traumatic and tragic, and the further up the plateau I go, the less and less I find people who look like me. The harder I find it to relate to people who haven't seen the things firsthand like I've seen, who can only give me a sudden wow, or you should write a book or make a movie out of it. And it feels like I'm stuck somewhere in between. Kinda like talking proper when you live in the hood, but your zip code doesn't let you play with them. But on the other hand, the people you would like to call friends ridicule you because you sound like one of them. People I grew up with think I have all the hands to give out. And the ones that I step on stage with don't think I deserve to sit at the table with them. I struggled for so long, I learned how to survive. And through that survival, I learned how to thrive. Only now I feel invisible to both sides because I don't fit in with either of them. So now I'm stuck somewhere in the middle, building my own safe haven for those first generation chain breakers who have nowhere to hide.
And as always, we snap our fingers. It is awesome to have you back. And will you be sharing a little bit more about your trip next week?
Oh, most definitely. Again, on our page, I put kind of a quick reel together to show from landing to some of the stuff that I bought. The next one, I think I'm going to do the food I ate, and then best I can, the places that I went to. I took around 300 photos, maybe 24, 25 videos. But again, one big thing I've learned, I guess, in being a travel guide for Google and stuff, unless somebody gives you permission, you should not take a full photograph of them. You should not be doing that. So a lot of my photos, if you notice over the past few years, is more abstract. Or you see a big view of the audience from not directly in somebody's face. I don't take a lot of selfies because, again, I need you to see what I saw for that moment, but not be intent on one specific thing. Plus in culture, especially there, it's disrespectful to take someone's photo without the accent. You never know what it is. I don't know. All that stuff.
All right. So, hey, look, on that note, family, and as always, all lives can matter until Black Lives Matter. And Black lives can matter until
all Black lives matter.
Justice or else?
Yay, yay.
Peace.